Hi. Hello from the forest. Quickly, I wanted to share with you my dear friend Liz Granfort, who I did a recent divine dialogue with, shared with me a book that has been absolutely life-changing. I can't remember the full title, but it's called She. It's pronounced She, but it's spelled like Sidhe, Sidhe, which some of you may know is a name for the ancient Faery Folk, more so spelled Faery than with an I. And they are a noble, magical, we humans would consider them, people who, according to this wisdom and more accounts that I'm reading about and slowly connecting with these beings, these people, the She, the fairy folk, the fairy people, myself, live very close to us. In fact, perhaps in a dimension right on top of ours. And what I wanted to share with you right now, I may have an ant friend, is a way that is mentioned in this book, which I highly recommend. It's by John Matthews, and just look up She. I'll put a link to it, and then Wisdom from the Celtic Otherworld. And the way that he gets in touch with the She is through looking at a glyph. What do you know? A symbol that leads us into portals. But as I was walking down one of these abandoned National Forest Service roads, just forest roads as I often do, I was just thinking, this reminds me of the way that the She Messenger tells John Matthews, who published the book, to travel to other dimensions and meet other beings, should you so wish. That's cool, isn't it, with the tree shadow? It's like I am a tree. So this is it's, according to the She, it is a real place. Oh, here's a mushroom. Bring mushroom in for our filming. Hello. So it is a real place. It's also an imaginary place. And the idea, so you can go there anytime. And perhaps one day we would physically encounter it. So the idea is that you get in a relaxed position, either lying down or sitting, and you close your eyes and you imagine that you've come to this great meeting place. Like a cavern, almost like the center of a flower, and then like petals going out in tunnels or doorways all around it are all of these entryways that you can go follow down. So you go there and then you see if there is a portal, a door, an opening, a path that calls you in this imaginary sort of eternal portal that exists and is a way to go be in these other dimensions and be with these other beings in these other places. Again, whether we experience that physically in this body, which I also think is possible, hard to say, we can definitely go exploring there and commune with these other beings and be in these other realms now. So from this place, from this almost terminal portal cave, and you're in the center, this great circular center with all of these offshoots of tunnels or doors or petals that you could choose, and you choose one and you go down it. And the She, the fairy messenger in this book, said that you might notice glyphs as soon as you get going down that way, because glyphs and meditating on symbols, here's the symbol of the Camino de Santiago, scallop shell. Meditating on symbols can often also help us open portals into other worlds. The way that She described it was that glyphs, symbols, can act like a magnet to bring two worlds together. So that goes back to my video, how to invoke natural magic, because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, this is a wand. So if this is a wand and I meditated on it in that way, what can happen, right? And also, though, just the natural symbols of nature are like glyphs. I mean, if staring into the face of a flower isn't sacred geometry and staring into a glyph, I don't know what is. So I'd love to hear what happens to you guys when you go on, like, let's report back to each other. Let's be psychonauts. Dream knots. I actually like that better. And dream explorers, dream adventurers and adventuresses. I didn't get too into it because I also literally feel like I'm going out in real life and it's like, oh, okay, well, where is this portal leading? And there's all of these, especially in this way that they're these overgrown roads, you know, where no one goes anymore. And it's like, it feels like when I go down them, I just don't know what beings I'm going to meet or who I'm going to meet. And remember, you guys, I think becoming higher sensory or more intersensory or supersensory is about remembering that experience is not just our five senses. Like, there's so many. And for me, the way that I've been feeling it is places like this, or even beings. For instance, where I was just camped and so many dragonflies and butterflies, which I also knew was like fairies. And the feeling that places and plants and animals and honestly anything gives you. Like, that, you're getting to know someone the same way you would a friend. So the other night I did this exercise that the fairy recommended for just a bit. It outlines it in detail in the book of how to do it. I mean, it's pretty simple, so hopefully this explanation I'm giving is okay. And I went down this, I went down one of the arms that came off this central terminal, and the being that I met was a huge, like Alice in Wonderland status, huge, sort of fiery red and pink mixed caterpillar. Huge. I mean, the caterpillar was, you know, it was a he too, for sure. His body was like, his height was like twice my height. So you can imagine that kind of caterpillar girth. And we didn't say much. I wasn't there for long, but it was just silly. Like, it was a silly feeling. And I encourage you in that way because maybe it's not so much about necessarily specific words or images as it is the gift of the feeling. Like, that caterpillar, the feeling he wanted to give me was like magical silliness and frivolity. Like Alice in Wonderland. I mean, you know, and then associations can tell us a lot too about the messages that are asking to be sent. So I hope that you guys go dream nodding, dream exploring, and report back here. Or if you have any other tactics or have been in contact with any mystical beings who have let you know good ways to, you know, get our sea legs with interdimensional magical travel, it's definitely a thing. I mean, it's no different than lucid dreaming, right? And I'm feeling, and some of the messages that I'm getting are that becoming more intentional and more practiced in the lucidity of consciousness in general, whether dreaming or waking, it's like allowing ourselves to go on that journey and then believe what's coming to us, I feel like is part of it for me, at least, because you're like, oh, well, you're just making that up if you're going to a terminal and going through whatever and meeting this giant caterpillar. And it's like, I mean, first of all, right, life on some level is make-believe then, especially as far as the way that we see it and interpret it. And it's more so than that. I think it's like I'm discovering the wilderness of my magical imagination. I'm an explorer there. These are things that are in there that I didn't know was there, the same way that we explore the earth and I don't know where this path leads. Like, So that's exciting. And I think there are all kinds of portals, physical, energetic, all of it. And that if we just have a desire to and kind of keep trying, there are all kinds of beings and energies and spirits and fairies and guardian angels and guides and everything that are like, ooh, they're paying attention. They want to go. Let's go. So I will chat with you guys soon, and we'll see where this leads me. And happy interdimensional travels. Buen camino.